life lately and in between, how it feels when you're in limbo. That's how I felt, and that's how I've been feeling for the last few weeks. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of Life Vetted. Thank you for being here and thank you for tuning in. Hey guys, what's up? Yes, I know. It's a different vibe today. It's a whole different side of my office. I am literally on the other side of my office because that side is going through some changes. I have had so many things going on in the last couple of weeks, and I have been running a little thin. I have all these projects that I'm trying to get them, off the ground, and it's been taking up a lot of my time and also a lot of my brain, neurons in my brain. So it's been a little rough, but I am excited. I have high hopes for the things that I'm doing, and I can't wait to share them with you guys. So I decided that we needed a little bit of a change of a background for this episode since I'm working on a lot of things on the other side of my office. So here we are. How has everybody been? I feel like I haven't been in front of the camera, at least not for the pod, in a while. And listen, with everything going on, I have to try to find a schedule. I really do have to find a good method and a good way of spreading things out and just scheduling myself every day to do the things that I need to do for my creative projects and things like that, but also the things that I need to do for my soul. I am going into that low energy week. I am going to be shedding with the full moon tomorrow, like last month. And, when you go into those weeks, it's a little rough. You have to listen to your body, but at the same time, there's certain things that you have to get done. And I told myself this week, I said, because I knew that this was coming up. Obviously, I track my cycle. And I told myself, I said, I am going to make this last week count because I know that once I'm on my cycle, I'm going to be super low energy. I am not going to want to do anything. And so I told myself, I said, I am going to make this week count. So I made sure that I set time aside to go to the gym. Even yesterday, I was not feeling it, but I told myself, you know what? You're going to go and you're going to move your body and you're going to at least do a mile on an incline on the treadmill. Girl, I ended up doing 2 miles, okay? I ended up doing 2 miles on a super incline, going relatively fast, and I felt really, really good. I am not the kind of person that I don't put myself on a guilt trip if I don't go to the gym. I'm not that kind of person. I don't put myself on a guilt trip if I have a slice of pizza. I always say I go to the gym because I love my body, not because I hate my body. And I go to the gym because after I leave the gym, I just feel better. I don't have any goals. I'm not out there trying to lose a bunch of weight or anything like that. My one and only goal when I go to the gym is just to feel good. And used to not be that way, but ever since I changed my view about the gym, I would say that I'm much more consistent now going to the gym now that I've kind of changed the way that like I think about it. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so it's been kind of rough going through my schedule and putting time aside, like stuff like that, like going to the gym, making sure that I'm like cooking and like eating things that are nourishing me, but also filming content, making sure that all these creative things that I have in mind are like coming into fruition, you know? And it's crazy because I, and you know, people say that this whole like astrology shit is not real. Like, bro, you can't prove that it's not real. Like, no one is gonna come to me and tell me that this shit is not fucking real, okay? Since Pluto has moved from Capricorn to Aquarius, like, I have found that my energy has completely changed, even the energy of the world. Like, Pluto is a generational planet, which means it affects a whole generation instead of like individual person, like people. Like, every person has a different, like, Venus or a different Mars, but Pluto, because it's so slow and it moves like so slow around the sun, it it's the same for like a group of people. So like my generation of people that are like in my age bracket all have their Pluto in Scorpio, for example, right? So that's what I mean when I say it's a generational planet. And ever since it moved from Capricorn to Aquarius, there has been so many changes in the world. I'm not gonna like get into all the details because I just kind of want to talk about like how it's really changed like my viewpoint. I grew up like really thinking that I needed to like hustle and I needed to go out there and get money and I needed to go out there and do things to like get money, and had like this really like hustle mentality. Also, like, obviously I'm also like Cuban and I'm from Miami, so that's kind of like in my blood a little bit, to be that hustler, to be that person that like goes out and like gets that money and have that hustle mentality. And I mean, even up to like maybe a couple years ago, like I had that mentality too. However, now that it's changed into Aquarius, which Aquarius is more of a sign of like rebellion, like doing things differently. Capricorn is more of a sign of doing things by the book and doing things how, quote unquote, they're supposed to be done. And Aquarius is like, no, like the complete opposite. Aquarius is like about the people. It's about giving power back to the people. It's about doing things unconventionally. And ever since, man, I can see that my energy has completely changed. After everything that I had gone through, like in the last 4 years, being alone, like not really being too social, like I feel like the universe has like isolated me and the universe has like prepared me for what's coming. In that way, my feelings about my masculine energy and my feminine energy have completely changed. And it wasn't until I kind of like let go, even like not knowing like what I was going to do. There was a point in this like last 4 years that I had no idea what was going to happen, how I was going to make money. Like, there were little spots in those 4 years that like I had no idea. But but what I've realized is that when you, and Bashar says this, like, you guys should look up on YouTube like Bashar, and he says it. He says, you know, people ask him all the time. They're like, "How do I create more abundance? How do I make more money? Like, how do I, you know, create the life that I want?" And he says it all the time. He's like, "The one thing that you need to do is follow your joy. You just follow your joy and have faith in that, and the universe will provide like the circumstances, the people, the things that you need in order to survive." And I know that for some people that's going to be like like I'm talking like Chinese or something. Trust me, I know, because even myself, like I remember being on Twitter one time, and like Russ, who's like a rapper, and I love him. I've been a fan of him for a while. My friend introduced me to him when he was like just only on YouTube. And so I've been a fan of his for a while. And I think he like tweeted something about like, oh, if you want like your dream life, or you want to do like your dream job, like just go out there and do it. And I was like, bro, this fucking guy, like what is he talk, like, oh yeah, that's so fucking easy to just go out there and just do it. Like who does this guy think he is, you know? And so I've been there is what I'm trying to say. Like when someone has just told me like, "Oh, just follow your passion. Just follow it and everything will fall into place." I have been in the spot where I'm like, "Bro, who are these people? Like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, get out of my face." And again, like through this whole journey that I've been on, I've realized that it's so fucking true. Like, the more you relinquish control of things, the more the universe pours into you. And the more faith that you have, the more situations that will get you to ultimately like what you want will just kind of appear. And it has been more evident for me now than ever. And you can't tell me it's not a coincidence that, you know, that there's things in the stars that are happening that kind of mirror those kinds of feelings and that kind of energy. And so for me, I have tried my biggest thing in the last couple weeks and in the last like few months have been one to like really keep promises to myself. I've really been working hard on keeping promises to myself. So like if I say this week I'm going to do this, this and that, even if it's like little stuff, I really try to keep those promises to myself because it just reinforces your trust with yourself. And it kind of lets your subconscious and like your inner child know like it's safe, right? Like if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I mean, that's a philosophy for everything, but especially with the relationship that I am creating with myself, I have really, really made it a point to make sure that I am keeping those promises with myself. But I've also been trying to make sure that I follow my joy. So things that really bring me joy, I try to do them, and I try to do them all the way. Like I don't want to half-ass anything that I do, which is why I had to stop doing podcasts every week because I had all these other ideas popping up, and I knew that if I kept doing my podcast episodes every single week, that I was just going to run myself too thin and the quality wasn't going to be there. So that's just like an example, you know? I want to make sure that when I'm doing stuff, I'm doing them 100% and I'm following that joy. And ever since I started doing that, at first I started doing it like little bits here and there, right? Because I had a full-time job and I didn't have like the means or the time to give to all these things. But the more that I did it, like even if it was just like little bits here and there, here and there, I mean, in the last 2 years, it has really grown into something that's super sustainable for me. And I couldn't be like any more grateful. I really couldn't. And so now that that it has grown, it's kind of like a snowball, like down a mountain. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now that I am there, I have more ideas, and then I have more means of making these ideas like become a reality. And all I did was just follow that joy, and the money comes in and the abundance has come in. Before, when I was living from control or when I was living from fear, like I remember that I would see people that were like abundant and had like a lot of money, and I've never been like a really jealous or envious person. I've always let people that are doing better than me or have more money than me or are doing things bigger than me. I've always been more inspired by those people than like mad. It's always been like the question I always tell myself when I used to see people like that, it would be like, it was never like why them and not me. I never felt like that. It was more like why not me? Like if they can do it, then I certainly can. But I was living life from my subconscious, and my subconscious has still not been healed and reprogrammed. So even if I tried to do the things that I wanted to do, like they weren't going to be successful because I was operating from a different program. And so now that I have been going through all this and really like rewiring my subconscious, I am acting from a place of like love and joy and happiness. And so now is when things are really flourishing and when they're like really, really like taking off and working out. They would not have worked any other time. It had to happen the way that it has happened. And so now when I see abundance everywhere. Like I used to think, oh yeah, there's people that are like rich and have all these like this amazing life and stuff, but it's not a lot of them. Like there's only like a certain amount of people. Like that used to be my mentality. But now it's like my whole view has like completely shifted. All I see is money and abundance, like everywhere I go. Like it's incredible. Like I look around and I'm like, there is so much abundance in this world. And all we have to do is go out there and like operate from a different operating system, and we will have like our piece of the pie. I don't see scarcity. Yes, are there people in the world that don't have food and don't have, clothes? Like, you can't talk to me about that because I know firsthand about that. Okay, I spent my entire childhood visiting my family in Cuba and going to vacation there, which wasn't a vacation, but to one of the poorest towns in Havana. That's where my family's from. So you can't try to, tell me these things. Yes, I understand that there are people out there. Yes, there's people that live in scarcity, that live in hunger. I understand that. But the problem is that we want to get rid of the problem by focusing on the problem, and that's not how you do it. Abraham Hicks says this all the time. She's like, we want to not repeat history, but all we do is talk about the history. And you can't do that. You can't expect to change history when all you're doing is building monuments about history, talking about history, telling your kids you can't repeat history. Like, you can't do that. You're keeping the energy alive. You're keeping that thing that has happened alive by continuing to talk about it, bringing it up, keeping it in your energetic field. Like, it's impossible to do that. And so you can't, like, if you want to really make a change in your own life and in the world, it starts with looking in the mirror and looking at yourself. The more that we go out there and we're like marching about these causes and like joining Facebook groups that are all about, causes that we believe in and things that we want to change and like all these things, the more you keep those things alive by participating in all these things and being so like crazy about, equal rights and or whatever, I'm just giving you an example. The more that you keep those injustices alive, if people, and I've said this all the time to friends, and if people would just focus on themselves, they would change the world. The whole world would change. And so I've realized that in the last, few years of my life, because I used to be like that too. I mean, if you go into my Facebook, I've deleted a lot of them because it's embarrassing. Some of the things that I would say and do, and it's embarrassing. And it's, I give that girl hugs and kisses and, and all the love in the world when I think about that person that was operating from fear and anger. And it's just it's I know it sounds counterintuitive to do that. It doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, there's people out there that are sick and have diseases. What are we, you're supposed to ignore it? Like, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it really is the only way to make a real difference. So for me, like, I don't watch the news. I don't really get into too much politics either. Like I've told you guys before, if someone asks me my opinion, I'm gonna give my opinion, but I'm not like super into it. And I just try to focus on the things that make me happy, the things that bring me joy, what I can do in a small amount to just make my world a little brighter and a little more filled with love. And I feel that if I do that, then I am doing my part. If I live my life in a way that is joyful and positive and full of abundance and love, not only am I changing my life, but I am causing a ripple in the fabric of space and time that will go out into the internet and hopefully make or change somebody's life. And ever since my mindset has changed, like I said, I just see abundance everywhere. I see love everywhere I go. I see abundance everywhere I go. I see money everywhere I go. And for a while now, I have felt like something really, really big is coming. Something really, really big is about to completely put everything on its head, but in a good way, like not in a bad way. I don't feel fear. I don't feel any of that. A lot of the times when you are going through these vibrational changes in your life, it feels like restlessness a little bit. You can confuse it with anxiety, but it's not anxiety. It's just that there is so much energy that is flowing through your body because your whole nervous system has to change. If you've done the work and you're going through these changes in your life, your system has to change. It doesn't stay the same. Like your cells, your DNA, like your nervous systems, like your brain, like it changes. Like actually, like a metamorphosis is taking place in your body. And in order for that to happen, old energy has to disperse and leave, and new energy comes in. And so sometimes when you're in that change where it's like the in between, which is what I feel like I've been in for a while. I feel like I've been in this like limbo state, in this in between. And it's a little bit uncomfortable because my body is like dispersing all of this old beliefs and all these old energies that I've been carrying for such a long time. And it's like getting rid of it. But when that happens, because it's so much energy, it could feel like you're restless, like maybe you're not sleeping as well, maybe you feel like if you feel it in your chest a little bit, so you can confuse it with anxiety. And I've been feeling like that. I have zero problem sleeping. I have never have a problem sleeping. I always sleep amazing. I've never like sleeping is my jam, okay? Like why do you think okay, they call it beauty sleep for a reason. So I've never have a problem sleeping, but in the last like couple of weeks, I would probably say yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, I have felt a change in my sleep patterns. Like, I have felt a change in like my environment. Like, it has gotten really quiet all of a sudden in my environment. And I mean, not to say that like my life is like, like a party or anything. My life is very peaceful. It's always been. But in the last few weeks, I really have felt like a shift where like things are too quiet. I feel this restlessness in myself, and even like sometimes it's like too quiet and I'm like, what's happening? And I get a little nervous, but it's not nervous or anxiety. I've realized that it's just my body is making space for what's coming, and I know that it's something big because of this sudden kind of change in like the electromagnetic field around me. And I've also realized that I've gotten these like new ideas and like things that I want to do and things that I want to like bring into fruition. That's another sign also of like something is changing, something is coming, because all of a sudden I'm getting like all these kind of little hints and little drops, in my brain all of a sudden. But at the same time, it's like it's a feeling of, okay, I gotta get this done. Like this idea comes in and you're like, oh, I gotta get it done. I gotta go. And then at the same time, it's like, no, 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 no. Wait, you can't. You can't do that. You gotta just, it's very, very, it's like a push and a pull. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. And I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm in like this limbo kind of state where I want to do all these things, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna schedule and I'm gonna do this, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, wait, we just gotta take it slow, just chill, and things are going to kind of, do their own thing, and that's where I'm at, and it's very nice once you understand like what's happening, but at the same time it's uncomfortable because I know that I am shedding everything that I was and becoming like this brand new version of me. Like every single day that I get to be myself, I am in so much gratitude, because sometimes I'm like, man, this is who I've always wanted to be, and I've never been her. I don't remember ever being this person. It's because I've had so much emotional and like psychological abuse since very, 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 very young, that I don't even recognize myself anymore. But I feel like I just feel so proud and happy, you know, to be me and to be in this like metamorphosis. And I'm definitely like a late bloomer, quote unquote, but I don't wouldn't want to have it any other way, because I feel like it all happened right when it needed to. And I look at myself in the mirror now and I can like appreciate myself and like really be comfortable with myself, you know? And so, although it's uncomfortable at times and I have to like remind myself of what is actually going on, when I do things like this, when I'm in front of the camera, whenever like I'm filming like a content or I'm talking about it, or even like in the quiet times when I'm just like sitting outside getting some sun, or like I'm at the gym or something like that, and I kind of think about what's really happening, I feel so great. I feel so like I love me and what I'm doing. And a lot of people will see me like from the outside, people that don't know me, people that might not have listened to all my podcasts, or people that just see, let's say like if you just go like on my Instagram and you just see like pictures of me, or you see me out in the street, like I know that people have like their own opinions or might think a certain way about me, but I promise you that everything I've built, everything I have, everything that I have created in my life has come at a very high cost. I know that I don't make it look that way, because it's just part of like me, my personality, just who I am. I know it seems like, oh, that girl got it easy, or oh, she makes it look easy. But I promise you that everything I have, everything I've built, everything that you see in little snapshots of my life have come at a very, very high price. It has come at the price of pain and tears, and I have just built on top of that. I've built upon those things. And so that's where I'm at. That's where I've been in the last few weeks. I'm excited for you guys to kind of continue to see the transformation. I'm excited for me to see the transformation. And I hope you guys understand like kind of like where I'm coming from, and I hope that it makes sense. It will make sense. It will make sense to the people that it needs to make sense to. I was also thinking about, through all of this, a lot of old kind of storylines have been brought up in me, especially with like Uranus moving into Gemini after like 84 years. I am a Sag rising. Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini. And so, as a Sag rising, the Uranus moving into Gemini is affecting my seventh house. And the seventh house is the house of one on one relationships, partnerships, romantic relationships, and all of that. And so, that's another way that you know that you're transforming and like things are about to change, like something big is about to happen, because a lot of old stories come up. And it's almost as if the universe is showing you like a slideshow of all these old things, just to kind of like an ends credits kind of thing. Like you kind of revisit all these old stories and they just kind of like pop up. And that's been happening too. And it's been happening often in the last few weeks. And so that's how I know also that like something is a brewing. I have been thinking a lot about like my one-on-one relationships, like with my family or like my mom. Like for example, like my mom saw a clip of the last video that I posted where I was crying. I posted a clip on that, And this kind of just shows you the kind of relationship that I've always had with her, because it's never really been about me with her. It's always about like her. She saw a picture of me crying and she assumed by watching it that I was sad or there was something really bad happening, when in reality, like, if you've seen my last episode, I talk about having like this breakthrough where I just realized that I was having a little bit of like imposter syndrome, and I was like, am I really this person that I wake up every day and like try to be? Like, am I really the person who is going to change my lineage and my future generations? Am I that person? Am I that generational curse breaker? And I had this realization that I am, that I really, really am, that sometimes we get like imposter syndrome. We're like, do I deserve this? Am I really this person or whatever? And I had like this kind of breakthrough moment where I realized that I am this person. Like, I am this special person. I am a person in this world that came here to change things. And that's why I got emotional on the video. But of course, my mother thought that I was crying because like I was sad or there was like bad things happening. And then instead of saying, well, even if she thought that, right? Like, even if she thought there was something bad happening, you would think that she would ask me like, is everything okay? Are you okay? Is your daughter okay? Like, what is going on? I saw you crying. Like, why were you crying? Are you guys okay? No, she did not ask me that. It was the opposite. She was like, well, it's obvious that, something's going on. And I think that it's because, like, essentially, she was saying that because me and her don't have like this close relationship, that's why that I was like sad and crying. So she turned it around on her, like saying that I'm so sad and crying because my relationship with her is not good. Like, So and honestly, those things don't even affect me anymore. They used to affect me like a whole lot. But now it's just like more confirmation that, like, this person like doesn't know me. She never knew me. She doesn't try to get to know me. She doesn't try to know who I am. And a lot of people in my past are like that. A lot of people from my Miami past are like that. Including like, for example, like my daughter's father, like same thing. Like, all those people have like this kind of like this old story. They live from this old kind of storyline, and they think that I'm still there and I'm not. But instead of kind of evolving and seeing like maybe I should try to see like what she's about, she didn't. Like, even if she thought that there was something going on, or she was scared that there was something going on or something bad going on in my life, you would, like I said, you think that she would ask me like, are you okay? What's going on with you? What's happening with you? Why are you crying? No, she like automatically was like, oh, it's because you and we just don't have this is why all of this is happening, because you and me have not talked. And I'm like, I honestly, I didn't even respond to it. I just saw the text message and I was like, okay, like, thank you for confirming like what I like already know. And it's just, I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel anything about it. That's how you know that you've kind of like have grown and you've kind of have evolved, when things like that, they just kind of don't really have an effect on you. It's almost as if I'm in a completely different dimension and like reality than most people, and I'm okay with that, because we do create our own realities, right? And so I'm okay with the reality that I've created for myself and like for my daughter. All that matters to me is my daughter. And and I'm okay with that. So it's just funny because things like that have kind of like popped up, like randomly. And again, too, like I talked about what happened like with my daughter's father and things like that. Like those are the kinds of old storylines that will pop up right before something big is going to change. Something is just gonna like, it's gonna flip on his head. Like I can feel it. And one of the things that I was thinking about just a few days ago was, and I don't think I've ever talked about it on the pod, me and my daughter are like crazy huge like Harry Potter fans, okay? I love Harry Potter. I am like a super big Harry Potter nerd. I will never not love Harry Potter. I will be old and still love Harry Potter. And I'm a Ravenclaw, by the way, if you guys are curious. So I took the test and Ravenclaw was like the number one, and then like right after it was like by percentages, and I was like 1% over Ravenclaw, and like right under it was Gryffindor. So I'm like Ravenclaw by like 1 point. Anyway, so me and my daughter are huge Harry Potter fans, and in 2022 we went to California and we went to Disney World and we went to Universal Studios out there. But the park out there, I mean, the weather's really nice. You are not going to get sweaty, like waiting for rides or anything like that. But the parks are smaller. And we went out there. It was me, her, and my mom, actually. And we went out there 2022. And I took her out there and we went to Harry Potter Land. And she was super excited. But she wasn't able to ride some of the rides because she was like under, like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 inches or something like that. She was super disappointed, crying. I felt so bad. And I told her, I said, hey, I promise you that when you are tall enough to go to all the rides, when you're 48 inches, I am going to take you. And I promise you that we will go. And we'll go to Florida, which is bigger and the parks are better or whatever. So I did that. I gave her that promise, and I do not promise stuff to her that I don't deliver. When I promise something to my daughter, it's going to get done. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. So we went and we talk about Harry Potter all the time. And there's a time where she asked me, I remember she was like, Mom, what memory would you think about when you have to do a Patronus charm? So for you non-Harry Potter nerds out there, when you are going to cast a Patronus charm, which is a protection spell, in order to do that, you have to think about your most happiest memory. Like the happier the memory, the more powerful the Patronus charm is. And so when you create this Patronus charm, there's an animal that is attached to the Patronus charm. Everybody has a different animal, and that is what protects you in that moment. Now, in the books, in the movie, Voldemort, who is the evil guy, he cannot conjure a Patronus charm because he doesn't have any happy memories. And I remember when my daughter asked me, like, what memory would I use in order to cast a Patronus charm? I felt so bad because I honestly could not think of a memory that was so joyful, and it was so much full of joy that I could cast one. And when she asked me that, like in that moment, I realized, I was like, oh my God, like I don't have a Patronus. I know. Okay, just bear with me, okay? I know this is real nerdy for some of y'all, but Hey, what can I say? So I realized in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I don't have a Patronus charm. And I am not good at lying to my daughter. I'm like really bad at that. I don't know how to lie to her. And, I asked her, I kind of like flipped it on her and I was like, oh, what would your Patronus be? And then, she was younger when she asked me that. So she was like, saying like all these little like things or whatever, like, oh, when we went to whatever, we did this, like, But for me, like, I'm not good at lying. I'm not good at pretending, even with her. So I was like, mommy, I don't think that I have a Patronus. Like, I can't think of anything that I would think of to create a Patronus. And she was all like, oh, like, and because even like when my daughter was born, like, yeah, I loved her, but it wasn't like a happy time, when she was born in the first few years of her life, like she was happiness for me, but like my life was not happy, And it was kind of sad when she asked me that. And again, we're like big Harry Potter nerds, like we have like the robes and we watch, Harry Potter marathons and on Christmas. And I mean, our tree was Harry Potter themed last year. Like, we're really big Harry Potter fans. And so in that moment, like, I realized, like, I was like, man, I don't have one. And so, and this, I mean, we would talk about this even before we went to like California. And anyway, once I took her to Orlando, in like February, March, and when she was tall enough in 2023. And I remember that I took her, I told myself, like, we're gonna go all out. Like, no budget, no any, like, it was just me and her. I said, girl, go crazy, whatever you want. Like, I had the capacity to do that. And that's what I did. And I never had that. Like, my stepdad took me and my stepbrother to Disney World when I was like 4, I think. But I don't really remember that. And the older I got, like, my mom never took me to any, like, amusement parks, when I was older. I always was the third wheel to, like, a friend's family. Like, they were going to Universal and they were like, oh, okay, well, Nympho will tag along, I guess, like, and so I never had that. My mom never bonded with me in that way ever. Like, take me to the park or like, not like none of that stuff. And so when I took my daughter, it was, we went for 4 days. And first of all, I love traveling with my daughter. I've been traveling with her since she was little. Like, we've gone to Vegas, Houston, Georgia, like Miami a couple times. Like, traveling with her is like literally the best thing in the world. Like, she's my little buddy. Like, me and her are like, oh my God, I am so obsessed and I love my daughter so much. She is literally like my person. Like, when I was younger, I remember that people always had like a lot of friends, and there was a time in high school where I had friends and things like that, but like I was never like a big crowd of friends kind of person. I'm still not. Like, I'm even like I'm even kind of like eerie of people that like have a lot of friends. Like, I don't trust that. I'm more of like a one-on-one person, like a one lifer, like, or two lifers, like, that's enough. Like, I remember I always used to say, like, I just want one friend, or one person that is like my person, and they're my best friend and nobody else is, like, And that's my daughter. Like, the universe gave me my daughter for that reason. Like, she's mine. I know that she was brought into this world for me. And like, she is all that I need. Like, she's everything. So doing things with her, traveling with her, like doing absolutely anything with her is never a drag. However, when I took her to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure when she was tall enough to like ride everything, oh my God. I had the most amazing time of my life. We were running around that park like kids, like children, like two kids, like hand in hand, running around, like getting on a ride, and then, running to, through the line, getting on the ride, having a blast on the ride, getting off the ride, running to go get butterbeer, and then running over there to get food, and then getting on another ride, and then like laughing in the line, playing like patty cake and different like hand games while we're waiting in the line, and then getting off and darting to literally, I was running around that park with my daughter, a almost 40-year-old woman with a 9-year-old girl, running around that park like two children. Like, all I remember is like laughing and singing, and we were skipping in the park. Like, it was the most, oh my God, I don't want to get emotional. It was the most joyful experience that I have ever had in my life. It was pure, like joy. I don't know if any of you have experienced that before, but that was, I will never forget that. Like, they like they say that like before you die, like your brain like shows you like 7 minutes worth of like memories, like 4 or 5 minutes of that will be that trip. It will be pictures of that trip in my brain. Like, that's how amazing that trip was. And it was like, I just like let her, like, I was like, girl, whatever you want, like, whatever you want. We went shopping, we went into the stores, we got this, we got that. We drank like 4 or 5 butter beers in like a day. Like, it was, I mean, we went on the Hagrid ride, like, it, first row, by the way, twice first row. It was the most joyous experience of my life. That we also went to Miami after that, and my whole like my trip wasn't ruined, but like that second part of going to Miami was like the most awful thing on the face of the planet. Ugh, it was so bad. But then on the way back to Colorado, I remember sitting, in our seats, and we're gonna put on a movie, and we're like, hey, we should watch like Harry Potter. And we both like timed it so that we can have the movie on like at the same time. And as we're like searching through the movies on our TVs on the airplane, I look at her, and I realized, and I told her, I was like, I looked over and I said, you know what, B? And she's like, what? I go, I have a Patronus now. And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, our trip, like our time in Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, like those 4 days that we spent in Orlando were the most happiest, like pure joy that I have ever felt in my entire existence, like in my entire life. I have never been happier than I was with you in those 4 days. And she gets emotional and like she hugs me and I hug her and she's like, yeah, I think that's my Patronus too. Like, I was like, I have a Patronus now. We were all like laughing and half crying and hugging each other. And we're like, yay. Like, it was, oh, it was just like such an amazing time. I don't know that I've ever talked about it on my podcast. I don't think that I have. And all these kind of like old things have been coming up, like these old memories have been coming up, and although some of them have been not so nice ones, but I was thinking about this a few days ago and I was like, I'm so lucky to have the relationship that I have with my daughter and the experiences that have led me to where I'm at right now, and I know that it's only going to get better and better with her, and I just feel like I am the person that I needed when I was her age, it's just so nice to see. And I was remembering that trip. And that is literally like my goal in life. Like every time that I'm doing something, it is always with the, with the idea like in the back of my head that I will be going to Universal again with her, or I will be doing something on a plane somewhere with her, or like, it's just like, it is what I wake up and what drives me. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. I know that it's a little nerdy of me, but I mean, it's really something that completely changed. That was like one of those things in the last few years that like really changed like the way that I see things and like the way that I've grown and really just like have transformed like little by little into like this woman that I am so in love with. Like I really am just really like in love with myself, and people will people will try to knock you down that cloud, and people will make sure that they tell you how selfish you are because you are putting yourself first, and how selfish you are because you only think about yourself, or whatever the case may be. But I promise you that that is the only way to be selfless, is to be selfish. The only way to make ripples in this space-time continuum is to start with you. To make sure that you are taken care of, that you are nourishing yourself, mind, body, and soul. And that shit really makes the change. And I see it. I see it all the time. I see it, every time I look into my daughter's eyes, and I am just so, I couldn't be in a happier place than I am right now, even though, like I mentioned, I feel like I'm in the in between. I feel like I am in this like limbo where I'm like moving towards a completely new life and like leaving my past life behind. Like, I know that in a year, I'm not even gonna like recognize my life anymore. Like, I know that in a year, I'm just gonna be exactly where I always knew I was gonna be, but it's just gonna be like, holy shit, like, that's crazy. Like, I know that that's what's happening. And even though it's like really uncomfortable at times, I couldn't be in a happier spot. I really couldn't. And I hope that you guys are like joining me on this journey. I really hope that you guys continue to kind of follow my progress through all this craziness. Girl, I can't even tell you. Oh, super excited about all the things that are a brewing. So, just to close this episode out, I just want to send all the love and all the hugs to all you guys out there. I am so thankful that you guys show up week after week and click on my videos and listen to my podcast. This has been quite the journey. It's been a dream into fruition that I've had for a while, and I'm just really happy to be here. Every time I get in front of the camera and I talk and I'm just expressing myself, I think I say this like every time, but it is so true. By the time that I'm done, I just feel so good. I feel so happy and excited, and I feel like I've done like 20 years of therapy in like an hour. It's it's you guys should try it. You should try it. So I just want to give you guys a hug and say thank you for your continued support. I will see you guys on the next episode in a couple of weeks. And like I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The lessons will find you. This is Life Bedded. Until next time.